Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them.
Welcome and thank you for joining the Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm Yvette Walker, live blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, serving a population of over 25 million. Get us crystal clear and on demand by downloading the free KMET live streaming app on Google Play or the Apple App Store. A huge shout out to the team as always, Mitch, Bill, and Sean. I love you. And to our special advisory committee, Bill Morris of UCI School of Business, Joseph and Camila Rubio, thank you. Also, don't forget to check out the Jay Kaplan Show, also on KMET on Fridays at 3, as well as the Aaron Michael Sanchez Morning Show every morning, also on KMET at 8. And today I have just the distinct pleasure, excitement, and honor to be introducing Miss Kimberly Benson, who serves as administrator of the UAS Center at SBD, or San Bernardino International Airport. She is focused on promoting the adoption of drone technology in support of our region's workforce development. The UAS Center at SBD is located on site at San Bernardino International Airport, currently the fastest growing airport in the United States for air cargo. Bringing years of experience as an entrepreneur in international business, Kim has conducted business in over 50 countries and is experienced in U.S. export compliance, government affairs, and trade policy. She is dedicated to developing the UAS Center at SBD into a globally recognized hub of drone technology. Thank you so much for being with us today, Ms. Benson.
Thank you so much, Yvette. It's great to be here.
Well, one of the first things I love to ask every one of my guests is to just kind of walk us through your journey. And I know we had a conversation about, career pathways not always being linear and, having surprises along the way. But please share your journey with us today.
Certainly. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Well, my journey has not been linear, for sure. But it's been very exciting and have a lot of variety to it. Most of my background has been involved in international business, primarily assisting U.S. companies with establishing their presence overseas and setting up distribution networks and just establishing their presence in general. And I am very, very happy to be the administrator for the UAS Center at SBD. It happened largely as a result of some earlier work I had done with SBD, basically building their presence in the Middle East. And I did that for about 3 years, focused on bringing private jet business to the airport through Luxair, San Bernardino International Airport's private jet terminal. And did that for about 3 years, and I'm still looking forward to doing more of that as well. But when COVID hit, it basically, obviously, stopped me from traveling as regularly as I wanted to. And fortunately for me, there was the UAS Center was being conceptualized and thought of, and I was asked to lead the initiation of the center, get it operating, up and running, and I'm happy to say that we've now run for 2 years.
Wow. So you stayed busy. You found this great opportunity. So tell us a little bit more about what exactly is the UAS Center and whereabouts is it established on the airport?
Yes, the UAS Center was established then in July of 2020. We do have a physical location at the airport, actually 2 locations. One of them is a 4,000 square foot office space, which has a big conference room and workspace as well for our team. And then we also have a 78,000 square foot outdoor site, which is used for testing and drones, for demonstrations and for training. The UAS Center was established as an enterprise fund under the Inland Valley Development Agency, which is a regional economic development agency tasked with redevelopment of the area in and around what used to be Norton Air Force Base. And we are dedicated to developing this region economically and specifically through drone technology.
Wow. So with that said, please talk a little bit about, the evolution that you've seen firsthand about, drone technology, its uses, for everyday life as you've seen it on the ground.
Yeah, it's been so interesting. Drones, I really often compare them to computer technology in that they are that disruptive. When you think about how computers are now used everywhere in every corner of our being, I really see drones as a very disruptive technology that will change the way businesses operate. In fact, I can hardly think of any industry where drones do not apply at this point, even. Although we have a lot of space to grow in terms of the development of the technology with last mile drone delivery and things like that, they're still being used in every different way right now, even now.
And so what areas do you specifically see that has, experienced the most growth or the most interest for drone technology?
There's so many interesting areas. Drones are used to do mapping. They're used for surveillance. They're used for inspection. I can tell you that at the airport, drones are used daily for runway inspection, for solar panel inspection, for wildlife mitigation to make sure that birds and other animals are not interfering with the airspace. Also for surveillance around the perimeter of the airport. So there are just a million different applications.
Okay, well, I mean, and it's just so exciting. My son, he was into drones. He loves flying them. But what makes the drones you use different from the ones that you can pick up at, the local box store, I guess you could say?
Yeah, there's quite a differentiation between drones that are used for recreation, those that are used for military use, for example, and then those that are used commercially. There's some intersection, of course, but we focus mostly on drones that fall under a specific FAA category, which is drones that are under 55 pounds in weight. And those are the ones that are the most ubiquitous. We see those everywhere. And those are the ones that we generally focus on from the standpoint of getting people certified to operate those drones commercially for pay, as opposed to recreationally.
Right. And so what is the range of size these drones can take on, basically? So you're saying the FAA has different standards of licensing or requirements for drones that are a certain size. How many sizes are there for drones?
Well, I'm not even sure on the upper end, but that less than 55-pound cutoff is very critical for drones at this point. So, for example, the regulations that are developed by the FAA and enforced by the FAA with respect to a person becoming a certified drone pilot relates specifically to the Part 107 relates specifically to people flying drones of less than 55 pounds.
Okay, so based on that, let's talk a little bit more about how you're able to provide, research and development grounds for those that are, getting their licenses, spearheading channels or businesses, organizations dedicated to UAS or drone technology, and how it is you're able to offer that at SBD through your UAS Center.
Sure, we assist in a number of ways. First of all, we really focus on fueling innovation, and by that I mean providing a physical location where drone companies can test their products, continue their research and development efforts, and can also demonstrate their products to potential investors or even their customers. We also do quite a bit of work in terms of introducing companies to, for example, public sector agencies who may want to use their technology. On the training front, we will train people both in public sector and private sector. We do. We also focus on developing our workforce of our region so that, for example, we just last month launched a program for newly graduated students from high school in our area, and we're providing them comprehensive drone training from start to finish. So even before they're certified, preparing them to get that certification, and then onward, delivering a whole set of new skills for them, all the way through advanced flight skills.
Oh my goodness. So you're saying high school students are getting their licenses for drone. What exactly do you need, to be certified? Is there an age requirement? What are, the hours that you have to dedicate? Just can you share with us a little bit of a background of what it takes to be licensed and approved by the FAA to fly drones?
Yes. It's a very interesting process. Interestingly, the FAA administers a written exam. It's a multiple choice exam. It lasts about an hour. And if you are at least 16 years old and you take and pass that exam, you can speak, read, and write English and pass a background check, you can become a certified drone pilot. And what that enables you to do is use drones in your work, as opposed to just using them recreationally. So it's very interesting. It's almost like a driver's, taking your driver's exam, but without the actual driving portion, just the written portion. From our standpoint, of course, it's very important not just that people pass that exam, but that they actually, receive hands-on flight training, which is what we also provide. But a good portion of what we do now as well is we prepare people to take and pass that exam. So we do the whole range of preparation.
And so what does that look like? If I were to say, I'm really interested in, receiving a drone license by the FAA and maybe turning this into a new career pathway for myself, or encouraging one of my teenage children to do it now that I know that the age starts at 16, right?
Yes.
What does that course look like? And, give us a general overview of what that would look like.
Sure. Generally, to prepare to take the written exam, you want to dedicate approximately 4 or 5 days of classroom, about maybe 8 hours a day classroom, plus maybe 10 hours, I would say to 12 hours extra out of the classroom to prepare. It's a pretty intense written exam. It relates, of course, to the FAA regulations with respect to airspace. So you have to, it's basically, in many respects, an aeronautical exam, but it's also an exam of, to make sure that you're aware of the regulations that are in place, right?
Right.
In terms of the hands-on flight training, we offer that in 2 separate chunks, ground school and flight line training, both of which have hands-on elements to them. And each of those can be done in approximately 12 hours, depending on the skill level of the person. I mean, some people have been flying recreationally for years and, are quite comfortable with their drones, and others really need more hands-on. So it varies a bit, but it really is, it's very doable. And I always encourage to consider it because it opens up so many more career opportunities.
I can imagine. So as someone that I went to ground school, and I'm very interested because you're saying that you also go over ground school principles. So like wingtip vortices, ground effect, weight times arm equals moment. Do you cover those in relation to the drone as well? Or are those strictly for, aircraft?
Well, when I talk about the aeronautical aspects, we're talking about, weather and situation, mostly related to situational awareness more than anything else, right? And then the FAA regulations with respect to, how high you can fly and which kinds of airspace you can't fly in. When do you need to apply for authorizations, for example, in emergency situations for law enforcement, as an example. So there are aspects of it that are different from manned aircraft regulation, but with respect to understanding weather and general airspace regulations. There are some similarities for sure.
Right. Weather and its impact possibly on the drone as well.
That's right.
And what conditions that it's okay to, fly it in, what are safe, what's not safe, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is awesome. So please talk a little bit more about the regional stakeholders that you're working with, as well as the global stakeholders. I know you recently, accomplished a great project with Malta in relation to this drone development that you're working on. And it's just really exciting to see what it is that you're doing, not only regionally and locally, but on an international scale.
Yeah, we're really excited to see already so much engagement regionally. We are very, very engaged heavily with the San Bernardino County agencies, and in fact, all of them, each and every one, because they are all using drone technology in their respective agencies. With the county, we are also, to our knowledge, developing the first in the nation county-wide written policy that includes directives and standard operating procedures per county agency. And that enables the county, of course, to minimize risk, to create a safer environment with safer pilots, more confident and safer pilots, and enables them to move forward with integrating drones into their work more easily. And we're really excited about it. So that on the county side, we're very active, and then of course on the private sector side, we are actively engaged with training and discussions with the various key companies in our area. So very excited.
That is very exciting. And then just to break down the policy that you're working with or developing alongside the County of San Bernardino, just please put that into perspective, because when we talked about it, you mentioned that this is the first of its kind UAS drone, flight policy to be drafted and hopefully, adopted by the County of San Bernardino before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are hopeful that it will be adopted by the end of the year. In any case, we are thrilled to be cooperating with them. They are taking a very forward-looking, very progressive approach to integrating this technology and maximizing it for the benefit of our, the constituents, right? So, creating a very efficient use of funding by integrating drones where it makes sense and using drones to create a safer environment for their staffs, for example. And it's just better overall for the county and for its citizens. So it's exciting to see that they're taking a basically whole of county approach to make sure that they're also integrating drones into each and every aspect, but then also being careful to think about how to most effectively integrate them. What particular drones should they select that will serve them for the longest term and things like that. So it's great.
Absolutely. And I love how you frame it. San Bernardino County being, progressive and wanting to adopt, a policy, standard operating procedures for the safe use and, flight of these drone devices, right? Because as we know, that in itself is a mitigation package, right? It's going to mitigate any potential or a lot of liabilities. It spells out exactly what is allowed, how it should be done, and hopefully course of action should these things not be adhered to. But at the end of the day, when you look at it from a taxpayer's perspective, and I value this as a taxpayer because I live in San Bernardino County, but I see this also as saving our taxpayers millions upon millions of dollars in lawsuits, right? Because unfortunately, lawsuits come from a lack of policy, a lack of standard operating procedures, or a delineation of what is appropriate and what is not, especially when it comes to, hopefully things that you don't want to happen that turn out bad. But when you have it all spelled out and you have that policy under the protection of the county, it also protects, those tax dollars from lawsuits.
That's right. Yeah, minimizing risk is a big deal. It's very important, and it's important that the county really, address these things in a forward-thinking manner. I agree.
And so, what do you hope to do with that policy moving forward? Is this a policy that you feel can be like a step and repeat policy to offer to other counties or to other larger organizations or companies that are looking to find, a mitigation uh, package, SOP, something that delineates the proper use and function of this technology?
We are very hopeful that this will serve as a template as much as it can, right, for different counties around the nation. We know that there can't be only one version that would apply properly to all counties, but we really the beauty of our situation, in my opinion, is that because San Bernardino itself as a county is so large, in fact, the largest in the nation, right? We're in a good position to create a document that is broad enough that actually it could pretty well serve as a template. I'm hoping that we can engage many other counties throughout the country and that we can offer then also our services to help them to tailor it to best to their needs and their specific agencies. It's really our sincere hope. Yeah.
And so who are you working alongside to, develop this policy, the standard operating procedures? And please talk about, your experience with spearheading distribution channels in 50 countries, right? And creating those international business relationships and dynamics.
Yes, with respect to the international aspect, you know, partially because it's my background, but partially because I just really believe in it, is that if we, since we're undertaking to make the UAS Center a global hub, it's really important to think of it as a creating a global presence from the outset. So we want to encourage U.S. drone companies to set up our operations in our region. We want to encourage those drone companies that are already here to enter new markets internationally. And in my experience, there are a number of things that have to be done to basically tee up or prepare those platforms for drone companies in the U.S. And one of them, there are two key relationships that we've now set up formally internationally for very different purposes. So we have set up a relationship with the Professional Drone Federation of Luxembourg, which is made up of drone operators in Luxembourg. And we set that up for a number of reasons, but mostly just to create an area or an entity with whom U.S. drone companies can communicate to get a better sense of who is their customer in Europe, right? Almost like a focus group, right? So it can be used that way. And we're excited to work with them also with respect to standardization as they continue to go down that path with regulations in their own region. But with respect to Malta, Malta is quite interesting. So we have a formal relationship with Transport Malta, which is Malta's civil aviation authority. And we're really excited about this because Transport Malta has really become quite a hub for drone testing. So for drone companies that are looking to test their products to meet specific regulations for entry into Europe, Transport Malta is the place to go. And so we are really looking forward to bringing delegations and individual U.S. drone companies there and utilizing that existing relationship to really build technology and to build bridges with Europe. So,
that is so exciting. So do you see Malta as a proxy of the UAS Center at SBD or a partner on a global stage?
I view it more as a partnership because it provides a pathway for U.S. drone companies to meet the necessary regulations to then sell into Europe. And that's important, not just for selling into Europe, but many other countries around the world will follow suit in terms of, some or all of the regulations in Europe. So that's also important. to
Oh my
mind as
goodness.
well.
Wonderful. Okay, so we're coming up on a break. So for those listening, I'm Yvette Walker on Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV, talking to Miss Kimberly Benson, Administrator of the UAS Center at San Bernardino International Airport, SBD, establishing and overseeing drone technology, policy, education, and development for public and private sectors around the world when we return.
City of Hope is driven to making a difference in the lives of people with cancer and diabetes. We accomplish this by conducting innovative research and providing outstanding care. If you or a loved one has received a cancer diagnosis, go to cityofhope.org to learn more about how our innovative approach could change your outcome.
Every 2 seconds, someone needs a blood transfusion. Be on the giving side. Livestream Blood Bank supports patients in 80 Southern California hospitals. Call 1-800-TRY-GIVING for more information and to set an appointment.
Hi, I'm San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. If you're looking to start an exciting career in law enforcement and make a difference in your community, we are hiring dispatchers, nurses, deputies, laterals, and many more. For a complete list of our jobs and more information, visit sheriffsjobs.com.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily non-stop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
Cal State San Bernardino is home to the only School of Entrepreneurship in California. With globally ranked degree programs, you can start your journey today to become a successful entrepreneur. Learn more and connect at entre.csusb.edu.
The University of La Verne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in La Verne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of La Verne. go.laverne.edu.
It's summer, the sun is shining, and now's the time to make the most of your solar panels. Don't lose up to 50% of your solar panels' efficiency just because they're dirty. Get the most out of your solar panels and call my friends at Solar Panel Cleaning Specialists at 951-663-7502. That's 951-663-7502. Mention this ad and receive your discount. Offer expires December 31st. Welcome back. For those listening, I'm Yvette Walker on Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV, talking to Miss Kimberly Benson, Administrator of the UAS Center at San Bernardino International Airport, SBD, establishing and overseeing drone technology, policy, education, and development for public and private sectors around the world. Thank you again for being with us, Ms. Benson.
Thank you, Yvette. Great to
Well,
be here.
I'm just so happy that you're here. And before the break, you briefed us on what the UAS Center is, some of your background with spearheading and, initiating distribution channels around the globe with over 50 countries, and kind of some of the direction that you're seeing this drone technology, take shape in the direction that it's going in.
It's really exciting to see, and really want to focus our efforts on the promotion of U.S. drone technology. Make sure that there are pathways for U.S. drone companies to sell their products globally.
I love it. And so you talked a little bit about the UAS policy that you're developing, for mitigation efforts and for just standardization across the board, hopefully on a global scale as you progress your efforts. But please talk a little bit more about how you see drone technology impacting, the future of business applications.
Drones absolutely are disrupting our world for sure. And in fact, I think that virtually every industry will be impacted, not unlike computers have done as well. We see daily new applications, and it's really exciting to see the advancement of specific kinds of technology and the convergence of different technologies. The mapping with the surveillance, with the agriculture applications, planting seeds and planting trees, and all. There's just so much. There's so much. I could talk forever, honestly.
And so let's talk a little bit about maybe common misconceptions as it applies, to drones, drone technology, and maybe even the licensing of, FAA licensing in order to properly operate one.
Well, I think there's the misconceptions that I see, relate mostly to how to become a drone operator. I think people tend to think that it's a specialty that is, perhaps difficult to enter. And in fact, there's a very straightforward process to becoming a certified drone pilot and opening yourself up to a whole world of opportunities. As I mentioned, you pass a written exam, and then hopefully you get formal training like we offer at the center, formal flight training, which we believe is really critical. But I think people overestimate the level of difficulty to enter to gain the skill set, and in fact, it makes sense as I see it to, for anyone to gain this skill set, because then you can use it in virtually every industry you go into.
I mean, when I think of, the future of drone use, I'm thinking, and this is already being used, but search and rescue,
Yes.
Right? So healthcare, food delivery, right? Amazon, they're doing the last mile, like you mentioned. I know that's something that they've been working on and developing. And maybe you can share with us how that's coming along in relation to UAS Center at SBD as well.
Well, going back to your comment about misconceptions, I think many people assume that the whole idea of drone delivery is easy. They either think it's easier than it really is, but conversely, they might think it's harder than it really is. So it's kind of I don't know. I'm not really saying that right, but yes, the capability is there now to do a whole lot with respect to last mile delivery. However, there are many, many complicating factors, not the least of which are specific regulations that have to be navigated to create an environment, right? And the physical infrastructure that has to be created. When you think about where exactly would those drones start from, and where would they land? And I mean, you have to think about it in terms of almost building out an entire infrastructure,
right,
to enable that, right? So there's some challenges ahead for all of us, but we're hoping that the UAS Center will be a place where regulators and manufacturers and entrepreneurs will converge and really work on these issues together, right? Because we believe that no one specific sector is going to have all the answers, and we're going to have to cooperate. Public and private sector will need to cooperate if we're going to make advance this technology ultimately for the benefit of everyone.
So let's talk a little bit about the FAA and how the FAA, fits into, the policies, the standard operating procedures, the document that you're developing, to create a cohesive and streamlined view, again, of proper drone use, right, for public and private sector. Is that something that you're collaborating alongside with the FAA, or you're taking hints from on, their rules and what they want to see drone operators do? How does that dynamic work?
The FAA controls the airspace for the nation, not develop policy in any way addressing any of that. It's. I guess I would liken it to, any federal administration that has a set of rules. These are non-negotiable rules. We're not entering into that aspect. But what we are doing on the policy side with the county is focusing more on developing almost like an employee handbook for drone operators at the county level. So what should those county employees do or not do? What are the correct ways that they can operate the drone to minimize the risk for the county? The county staff, as do everybody, they must obey the FAA rules. There's no negotiation there. So quite separate, I would say.
Right. And so I thought it was really incredible how, you're using all of these different technologies in collaboration with drone usage. I know one of the systems that we talked about that is being used is Esri Technology along with drones. And for those that are not familiar with Esri is basically the largest global imaging systems company in the world. And they're also based right in San Bernardino County in Redlands. Talk a little bit about how you're able to, interface with that technology and how you're able to use that mapping technology for your benefit. And also, please talk a little bit about emerging career pathways that you see and that you're starting to be aware of through people, coming and approaching you looking for, a drone license.
Well, Esri is an amazing company. It dominates the global market in terms of mapping technology, and is very well integrated with drones worldwide. Furthermore, it's very, very frequently used, widely used, both in public and private sectors. Very, very important company. We're super fortunate that Esri is located nearby, and we're looking forward to doing more collaboration with them in terms of training and preparing people to utilize their technology, better prepare those people for entry into the workforce. With respect to specific opportunities, I am always amazed, even on the public sector side, to see how many public sector agencies are in immediate need for drone pilots. For example, San Bernardino County Public Works, for example, that uses drone technology to do surveys of infrastructure and dams and roads and bridges and things like that. They need drone operators, incredibly extensively. They use them, and they are ready to hire. And there are many public agencies like them who are in need of drone operators, certified, trained.
And so for those that are interested, or, you've piqued their interest about, getting a drone operating license and maybe pursuing a career pathway in that direction, what are we looking at in terms of, earning potential, life of a career and, maybe segue opportunities that could branch off from this?
Sure. If you have some flight experience, that you've got X amount of flight hours, you can entry level job, $1,000, $50,000 for immediate openings. So this is a pathway for people who perhaps may not want to go the university route. Maybe they want to, go straight into careers. This is a great way to enter into either a public sector or a private sector position.
And again, you can start practicing and get your license starting at 16 years old, which is just phenomenal. My son, he's about to turn 16, so I'm definitely going to be sending him your way.
That's great. We would love it.
Absolutely. And so please talk a little bit more again about the training requirements that exist to become a licensed operator. Again, about how much time, from start to finish. Let's say, hi, I'm Yvette Walker. I'm walking into the UAS Center at SBD and I want my drone license. What can I expect?
Well, the first thing you can expect is a course that lasts about 5 days, a classroom, 8-hour days, plus some homework time, a couple hours a night, to get you ready to take the written FAA administered exam, which then, if you're 16 years old, if you speak, read, and write English, if you can pass a background check, you can take that exam. If you pass that exam, you get basically your driver's license for drone operation commercially.
Wow, it sounds so easy, but there's more.
It's time and dedication. It's not that I'm not going to say it's a super easy exam. You have to prepare for it, right? But it's a multiple choice 1-hour exam, and you prepare and you study and
you take the test.
You can take it again. You can take it a second time.
How frequently do you have to, keep up your certification or renew your license once you do become a licensed drone operator?
I think it's every 2 years. Yeah, so it's not, it's doable.
So it's every 2 years. Is it like a driving test, kind of like a refresher course to make sure?
Well, what we're doing on the county level is, this is part of what we're looking to implement on the county level as part of the standard operating procedures of the county employees, is to make sure that their flight skills remain up to par, right? So, and this is something, of course, that would be important for any company as well. It's not just the county, but when we talk about, integrating policies, it's really all about safety, not only for the employee themselves, but also for the citizens.
Absolutely. And so we recently had, Mr. Mike Burrows, who is the CEO of the airport where your UAS Center is, which is San Bernardino International Airport. And I just have to say, he couldn't have picked a more perfect person to spearhead this drone effort because of your background. And, we talk about career pathways and how they're not always linear, but this, opportunity and ability equals success. And, your background is so extensive in international distribution, policy, and business, importing and exporting. I can only see the success, can only imagine. I'm so excited about the success that you're going to be, imparting on this program that you're spearheading, basically.
Thank you. And we have an amazing team. We have a team of technical advisors who are just extraordinary individuals, as well as a lead flight instructor who has a whole team of instructors with him. So it's definitely a team effort.
That's wonderful. And so please share with us what has been most exciting for you working at the UAS Center and developing this policy and, just basically creating a whole new hub, an epicenter, so to speak, of drone technology.
Well, one of the key partnerships we have is with Caltech, which is really exciting. They have their Center for Autonomous Technologies, and they focus on drone technology, robotics, autonomous systems of all kinds. And we have a relationship with them whereby, as they spin off companies using the technology that they've developed, those companies can work with us to commercialize. So they can use our site, for example, to test, to do their research and development efforts, continue those. And again, to use our site for demos and for testing. But it's exciting what's really exciting for me is to watch, how that happens, that whole process of taking a startup company to market. It's so exciting to see, and to see that both the challenges and the opportunities that continue to arise, right, with startup companies in this realm, and that's been really enjoyable and interesting. And we can bring a lot to bear because we have contacts, like I said, pretty extensive contacts in the public sector area, and oftentimes when you look at advanced technology, that's normally or can often be the pathway to commercialization. A startup drone company will take its technology and they'll want to introduce it to a large government agency. And we have the ability to, help them make those connections. And that's where it gets really exciting. Yeah.
So you would say Caltech is one of those stakeholders, because it sounds like you have like a full assembly line of, stakeholders that just are completely integrated, that make sense, that will, like I said, yield nothing but success for your efforts. And I can see why you're so excited about it.
I think one of the key areas too, of course, is logistics. And because we're an airport, it's just a natural fit there. We are doing a lot in that arena, right? To look at how can drones be used in logistics in general, and within an airport environment, of course, as well. But that's a natural fit also for our region, being a logistics hub that San Bernardino and the Inland Empire already is. So that's exciting too.
Can you talk a little bit about one of the more recent Caltech, people that have come through looking for drone technology, drone research and development and testing that have come your way, and just talk about what it is that they're doing with their technology, and maybe just a short overview of the process that they went through to get to your UAS SBD center.
Sure. The relationship with Caltech is one that we've had since the beginning, since inception, and based on some longstanding personal relationships at the county level and with our CEO. Caltech continues to develop new technology and spin off more companies, but we're working with one of their companies called Tufan, which is amazing in terms of its technology. They're looking to enter several different sectors, and they are multifaceted in their capabilities and improving by the day, which is so exciting to see the development of the technology even over the past couple of years. So we're super excited about what's possible for them in many different arenas. Lots of logistics and emergency management, and all kinds of things. So that's just one, but we're looking forward to serving more companies as we go along here.
Absolutely. So please share with us, any advice or direction or, your expertise for those that are interested in maybe pursuing a drone license or a peripheral career pathway alongside drone systems.
I would just strongly encourage anyone who's interested in pursuing drone certification, or even looking to just develop their flight skills after they have the certification, to please contact us. We're here for you. We exist for that purpose. And I would also encourage anyone, even if they're not thinking about becoming a drone pilot full time, to still consider getting that skill, because it's just like computer skills. You'll always use it eventually, right? Or there will be ways for you to. And so, if that can give you a competitive edge as an individual, why not become a drone pilot? Why not learn a computer program?
Absolutely.
It should be, in my opinion, it should be almost that fundamental as we move forward and prepare our workforce.
Absolutely. And so how many, graduates of your, UAS Center at SBD have you put out into the drone field?
Well, the graduates I'm most excited about are the ones that they're going to graduate next week from that program that we launched in June. We started with a group of 20 newly graduated high school students, and that's the group I'm really excited about, because I think they will serve as really a great pilot program from which we can build. Right, we can really use that template and build to create a platform for young people. As far as how many people we've graduated, it's hard to say. I mean, we were stymied a bit by COVID in that, for example, working with public safety agencies, they could not congregate in groups of larger than 5 people at a time, right, during COVID to protect our community. So we had some challenges for sure with COVID, as did any educational institution would have, right? But I'm really excited about what's possible in terms of training our youth. And like you said, even at a younger age, we're very excited about the possibilities here.
And what has the response been from this younger group of students from high school on this pilot program that you've started? What's the attitude?
Their eyes are open. So what we did was the first week of class was dedicated to preparing them for their written exam, as I've mentioned. And part of that week, we also every day brought a guest speaker from either a company like Esri or a public sector agency like Public Works for San Bernardino County. And we gave them the opportunity to meet these people who are using drones, of course, in their work, and get to know them and ask questions on a one-on-one basis. And it was really exciting to see their eyes open as far as what the opportunities are there.
That's just wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us today, Ms. Benson, and thank you for the amazing work that you're doing to create an epicenter of drone technology right here in San Bernardino County. UAS Center at SBD. That's the UAS Center at SBD. So everybody Google it if you have any interest. And for everyone that's listening, don't forget to look for us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Check us out on scbrtalk.com, and don't forget to download the free live streaming app on Google Play or the Apple App Store. Don't miss my interview with Peter R. Villegas, co-chair at Actum, where he delivers results for the world's most successful companies, leading advocacy groups, governments, political parties, NGOs, and prominent and political figures. With more than 30 years of experience, Peter is a nationally recognized corporate leader with expertise in managing various corporate, civic, political, and community issues and initiatives with a focus on multicultural communities. Prior to joining Actum, Peter served as vice president and head of Latin affairs at the Coca-Cola Company, where he acted as a national spokesman responsible for North America for over 6 years. Prior to Coca-Cola, Peter was a national leader in the banking industry, where he served as the vice president of the Office of Corporate Responsibility at JP Morgan Chase and Company. For over 2 decades, he developed unique approaches that made a lasting economic, environmental, and social impact on the communities and the companies that he served. Next week, we will have Supervisor Kurt Hagman, who was elected to serve San Bernardino County's 4th District in November of 2014 and was named Chairman of the Board of Supervisors in January 2019. The 4th District includes the cities of Chino Hills, Montclair, Ontario, and the southern portion of Upland. It spans approximately 133 square miles and is home to over 400,000 residents. Supervisor Hagman has an extensive resume of public service prior to his election to the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors, including serving in Chino Hills as Parks and Recreation Commissioner, member of City Council, and mayor, and served 6 years in the California legislature. Please, everybody, we will see you next week. Do not miss it.